Welcome, Sujata. Kulwinda, welcome. Kulwinda, all the way from Canada. Sujata from Singapore. Our guest today is Sujata on our platform, Tea Talk. Tea Talk for women or for men, anyone is welcome. It's a special place for everyone to come and sit with us to have a bottle of tea and have discussion. So
Yeah.
this is just a place to share your story, to discuss, or to brainstorm. So today we are here again with Sujata. Sujata is our special guest. Sujata is an author of the book Against All Odds, and I have the book here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so Against All Odds, and it's Sujata. This book, it's all about real, true life story. This is real life experience, life lesson. And so that is who we have here today. And our topic today is going to be based around Against All Odds, about life, about courage. So our topic today basically is courage. It's based on courage, how important it's courage, and why do we really need it, and how can we utilize it. So welcome once again, Sujata, for this discussion today. And Kulwinda, my partner in Tea Talk from Canada. She's also an Indian, just like Sujata, but she lives in Canada. Kulwinda is one superwoman that if I want to introduce her now from the beginning to the end, it will be another journey, but I will give her the opportunity along the way to introduce herself as well. And I will do the same. So my name is Ruth Ajaho Samuelson. I'm a life coach and a mentor. And also, I have a podcast called Clarity of Purpose. And we are here today. I'm also from Ghana, but I live in Iceland. And we are all gathered here today for one common goal. So, Kulwinda, I will give you the opportunity to just briefly introduce yourself so we can continue. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruth, and welcome Sujata Tiwari from Singapore. She's an author. And we met all in one platform, where's a Rich Woman magazine, Be Seen, Be Heard. And we have our inner courage or passion. Somebody can hurt us and we can explore ourselves. We are wonderful women and we met like so many people in a clubhouse and that platform. And my passion since I'm a child to help others. Together we can do much better and more because I came from that kind of background and family. I'm still family-oriented person. And my mission always be you. Doesn't matter how much you know, but like I never pick a pen and write a book yet. But I think like my thinking and my thoughts since like every single day I'm seeing myself, your story changed when you sit with the other person. Now we get this opportunity to learn about each other. And this is also a story, but now we have access. We are recording this and we're going to post on YouTube and we're going to put on richwoman.co. You can find our group, Global Tea Talk. I don't want to be tell myself like everything else. I'm an editor, I'm a podcaster, good vibes. You can feel it, you can see it when we meet each other. We need to know each other's boundaries and respect. Every human in this earth, God sent, he gave a ability, you can do anything, but like somebody holding us, who? Society. And when I met Sujata and I heard in a clubhouse her couple times stories, I will get like, oh my God, every woman, every culture is the same, but somebody need to open a mouth. But when you open a mouth and put a paper and a pencil together, some people get hurt because truth come outside. And now lots of people against even social media. Why? Because voice is heard. Now I'm encouraging every human woman. That's why I'm saying, like, I want like everybody need to be wake up. God gave us a chance after COVID because that's why we are here. Just let get together and ignite each other. I'm Kulvinder Samra from Toronto, Canada. How Ruth tell me she's my business partner with the Global Tea Talk. Sujata is our guest. Welcome, Sujata. Mic is yours.
Thank you, Ruth, and thank you, Kulvinder, because I really appreciate. I mean, I always say that I love to share my wisdom, but it becomes extra special when I share it with like the two of you who I really resonate with. It's very important sometimes to have a meaningful discussion with people you really identify in mind and thought process. So thank you
Right.
for inviting me here, and I'm really grateful and happy to be talking to you. Well,
Thank you. Thank you.
You. Yeah. So, Sujata, for me, I see you as a woman of courage, a woman of virtue, a woman, a phenomenal woman. And my colleague said earlier, Kulwinda said earlier, that she heard you on a clubhouse speaking. That's where I met you also. The first time you spoke, I quickly back channeled you, and
yeah.
we took from there. That is how we connected. It was your story, it was about the book, and you were sharing your story. Like I heard from the Rich Woman magazine platform that said, sharing your story changes your story. Your story is your story, but your story belongs to the world. And that day, when you spoke, something shifted in me. And I couldn't resist, but I thought I need to talk to her. I need to really understand more. And really, I connected with you, and I tapped a lot of lessons within this short time. I've learned a lot from you. That is who you are. You are so easy to give also. And like I say, we all have our perception. So I see you as a woman of courage. And reading your book also, I felt like there was a time in your life that you didn't have nothing but courage and maybe your higher self. That is all that you had. How would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself?
Yes.
I describe myself as a person who has been used to operating alone. Okay. And when you operate alone, then you can become many things. You can become a recluse, for example. You can become shy and introvert. But I believe that if nobody defines me and I define myself, then it's about courage. It's about giving. And if I don't have the reciprocity of receiving, that also is fine with me, because it's not always that if I love you, the other person has to love me. But the fact is, if I have my principles of loving, of giving, then I should do it irrespective of what I'm going to get. And this is exactly what I describe in many of my conversations, that I operate on principles and not the end result. Because if we operate on results, we might land up with nothing, because there will be expectations, there will be all these society standards, and we may not get anything that we want. So it is best to follow your principles, keep your integrity intact, and you maybe it be a hard journey, but I feel that you get success of some sorts. Success and failure is not defined as per society. It's whether you have had the peace of mind, you have achieved what you wanted. That's how I would describe myself.
When you are saying like success and failure, but as a human nature, to combine both together and step out from that comfort zone, how you put and keep it up in yourself?
So, like I said, success and failure have been defined by society. Okay, not necessarily it means the same as for me. Like I'll give you an example. What does failure mean? People use the word failure, right?
You're
I
right.
don't believe I don't believe in failure. You know why? It's like this. If you are working on something and you choose a certain approach, what if it doesn't work out? Does it mean that you have failed? No, it only means that this didn't work out. So maybe I'll take another approach, right?
Right.
So what you would have done is you would have learned from that thing, which was not to your optimal advantage or, the results that you had hoped for, but
Right.
doesn't mean that you failed, you know. And
Right.
another example I can give you, for example, I had this retail outlet business in Singapore, right? And when it closed, there were some people who thought that I had failed. Okay, but how did I fail? There are businesses in Singapore which were 160 years old, big huge chains and malls.
Mhm.
They closed down in COVID. If I closed down, you have to see that I closed down. I had completed my franchise contract tenure. I closed exactly in 5 years' time. So I don't think that I failed. I
No.
may have closed my shop, but I didn't owe a single penny to anybody. Now that calls for something, right? There was no
Right.
outstanding, there was no debt, there was no loan, nothing. So would you still say that I'm a failure just because I didn't make the huge amount of money that one is supposed
Yes.
to make? Or this thing. So I don't agree with this society standards of this thing. Everything the society says, they have their own connotations and meanings, and not necessarily that is true.
Yeah, I'm 100% agree with you. Like a person like me, I'm always like a home and I'm always like this. And people are saying like, I don't have money, or in my own words, I would say I have everything. Maybe like I'm not a six figure,
Yes.
two figure, I can say. I sometimes say like this way when I talk to other person. I said, at least what I have, I'm satisfied. I'm full-time mom. I'm full-time a cook. I'm full-time everything. But
Exactly.
see how happy I am.
Yeah.
You are just start your journey, or you are in 10 years in that journey, and you're full-time are making like you are saying six figure, but like when you are talking to me, your eyes are like stress, your face is like telling me six figure, but behind that your aha moment gone.
Yes. And all these people who have designations, who have the money, are they really happy in life? Do you really know what happens behind closed doors? What
Right.
happens when you go out of the office and go back home? For the woman, for example, they have to go back. They might be a vice president in a company, but when
Right.
they go home, they have to become the wife and the mother who's not appreciated. Because
Right.
why should it be that she has to go and make the cup of tea or make the meal? Why doesn't her husband, who's equally working, also go home and share in those duties?
Right.
And housewives are not paid, are they? You're not paid, but you would pay the cook, you would pay the nanny, you would pay the helper, you would pay the tutor. But why are the housewives not paid? So I'm just saying that there are many in the inequalities of what women face in society, and there's still such a lot to be done, and it's not being addressed. So I
Yeah.
have my different views.
It is like a controversial kind of word when we are saying housewife is not equally. Sometimes I'm saying like I learned from my family, not like I didn't ever hire any mentor or coach. When like they are saying the God gave woman everything. Just like I don't know which author I read. He said just he hold like one thing. He didn't give like a big strength and big heart to woman, but woman can do anything.
Yes.
Since my journey, I can every single day I'm seeing that word. But like one way I'm saying like what keeping me up like always head high, because like my husband or my parents never said stop doing this, stop going here. But like even just you come home, just like little smile or somebody have a cup of tea or water, you forget every tiredness, every money parts or everything. And even like that author in the book, he said like somebody maybe killed you with a knife, but like after a minute, he said sorry and hugged you, woman forgive. That's like, I don't know, that's like little thing, Sometimes in all of our journey, you will see it, I feel it, like somebody like give you a hard time. In a moment, he said like, okay, sorry, I don't want to do next time. Doesn't matter who is child, husband, you forgive. Why like that small things we are like getting like forgive without reasons?
Because little things matter.
Mhm.
There's not much emphasis on appreciation. There's not much emphasis on being sorry, or feeling remorse, or feeling that sensitivity that maybe I did not do enough, or I have not been equally engaged. But when that happens, then that is more than anything else, right? So
Yeah.
when we talk of humanity, which I feel there is a lack in our society, but that's the little moments which make up memories in life, or it gives you just that drive or incentive to take that as a learning and go forward. It's not always about the money.
Yes.
So, like I said earlier, that I'm learning a lot from you, and I, I feel, or I know I can specifically say that relationship or making connection with people, it's so important, and most importantly, it's people with like-minded and people with experience, and people that have gone through things that you haven't yet, or you have but they are doing it differently, or people who have overcome. And you have achieved a lot and you've overcome a lot. Reading your story, I was like, they said fear is a reaction and courage is a decision. Then reading your story, I realized that it's when I was reading, I just said to myself, this is a nightmare. And I was like, nightmare of experience for this person and her family. And the most significant uh, thing about this reading this book for me is how you took the time to put all of this down and the courage to put this on paper and publish it. It's just, it's breathtaking. It's out of this world. And I, because that is because, there are people who can't just do this. They just believe they
Yeah.
can do it. But you did it. And I know you have a purpose for this. I have my lesson. And I know I've spoken to you about it, but I would like you to tell the listeners what is the main reason for you having the courage, putting fear. I know you might have fear at the point, but you didn't let it cripple you. You continue to do what you had to do, and you did it anyway. So, what is the purpose behind this book, Against All Odds, by you, Sujata?
So, Ruth, what happened is, of course, I also talk of my angels, and I also talk of, how I'm guided through them. If you look at my story, you have to connect the dots. I finished the court case in 7 years. Imagine when it was the last hearing. After that, how miraculously you have COVID. Okay, you have COVID and there is a lockdown. And when there is a lockdown, you can do nothing, right? You are totally
Mhm.
locked down. And that time, my business also closed, the hearing closed, and I felt compelled that if not now, suppose I was working, I may not have had time to write the story. But God created a situation. It may sound very odd, but I always say in COVID, there are a lot of lessons to be learned. I mean, it also gave us
Right.
time to rest, to look at our thinking of how we are, going on in life, and question what we actually are running after, not running after, right? So it gave me that spare time. And I thought, if I don't write it now when it's all fresh, then I will never be able to write. And the purpose behind this was that I saw so much, and I keep seeing it now, where women do not have the courage to come out. They don't, really, they
No.
don't. And if if my book, which I call a legal life manual, is there, then I want it for women to gather the courage that, look, I know it is hard, but if I could do it, if I could have success, then so should you, because it's a question of standing up to injustice. And when we keep for years and years and centuries, we just keep accepting what is done to us, domestic violence, marital rape, you just name it, there's so much which goes on, suicide. Why is it that? Because we don't have any support from society. If you read my book, I was totally alone, right? And imagine to stay in a society in your own building where there was no support from anybody, to live like that, not run away. Like a lot of people suggested that I run away or I change my residence. I never did anything of that sort. My thing is still there. And now, how is it that after I've won the case, then people start talking? Because when people are successful, then you'll always have people around you. But when you're going through tragedy and trauma, there'll be not a single person. It's like almost not having a fly on the wall also. So it is like that. But I feel that this has to be talked about, this has to be written. And if I just talk about it without giving examples, which I now have the thing to do, then it's not going to make an impression. Because when somebody is undergoing something, you can give all the comforting words, but the person is not going to be convinced. They will say, I can't do this, why should I do this? And if I say, no, no, you can't do this, it won't make a dent. But if I give her an example, then they will say, okay, you know okay, if she could do this through such a harrowing journey, then why can't we? you know like
Right.
everything I did, I didn't have anything. When I wanted to become a career woman, I didn't have any qualifications and degrees. The importance even now. They will look at your qualifications, your degrees, all the degrees which you see on my bio. It's in the lockdown period. While writing the book, there was enough time to pursue online courses. So that is what I did. But my practical experience has got nothing to do with the courses. It's just an added thing, for
Right.
those who require paper. But my life is more than that paper, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you can be a social worker and all that, but you do not have the empathy. You do not have that sympathy for a victim unless you've been in their shoes. Like, I know what it is. So I can, better hold somebody's hand, give them the right guidance, which how many people can do? Okay, they will do it bookishly and say, okay, this is what you do. But it's not so easy, to make somebody come out and take that step, because that step is very, very big.
Right. They're the same. I forget how to say that saying. Like mostly people, when we get a degrees, you can go in school and college, do a degree. But
Yes,
skills, when you go in a society, you will get it.
yes,
Handle it, you will manage it. But like sometime like looking a person living in Singapore, Canada, or Iceland, whatever, we are saying is life is easy. Like when people are seeing our pictures or when we travel. But like if you guys are resemble this way, we are living same lifestyle. Sometimes we don't wash our face, and when we have to sit front of like something to do it, because like
yeah,
you are have a time value, everything you are finding you have to do it, doesn't matter you are sick, but you need to wake up and take care of your child, you do it. We don't have anyone
yeah,
who gonna come. Now the society changed and you are in a hard time, nobody come to you and ask what is hurting. But when you get out from that, then people are saying how you did it. This is like a long journey, but like sometimes society make you, they don't want to see you in a hard times, they don't want to see you in happy either.
and Kulvinder, you must ponder on this. There is no manual, and these certificates don't do us any good when it comes to practical knowledge or experience. For
All right.
example, all of us are mothers, right?
Right.
When we have children, there's no book actually. I mean, now there may be, but in my
Yeah.
times, I didn't have many books, right? Why is the child crying? Even if you have a book, you have to figure out when the child is crying. Does it want to be fed? Or does it want the diaper change? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's nothing works, and you don't know why the child is crying,
Right.
right? So
Right.
everything you have to figure out and do intuitively. No, there's no book which tells us how to be the perfect wife or the perfect mother,
No.
or the aunt and all. It's not. It's just on the go in the relationship that you figure out, right?
Yeah.
And this thing. So there is nothing which is there. So you can have all the degrees in the world. It's not going to give you the life manual, as to how to deal with situations. You don't plan for situations. Like, you don't plan to become a widow, but if you become a widow, how do you navigate the rest of your life? How do you bring up 3 children? Was that taught to you? Or when you got married, did your parents give you a book and say, okay, now if you become a widow, in the worst case scenario, this is what you do?
Yeah.
So you don't
No.
invite some life altering situations. But if you do, what do you do? And that's where the courage comes in, and that's where you need to take decisions. That's why I say leadership is not about designations, it's about action. An action which may not go the popularity mode, but which you need to take because it's the right thing to do.
Mhm.
Right. Even like if we are relating to this thing, like you bring how to handle the children's situations, right? In my words, sometimes I'm saying like, as a person, as a human, you are very adapted. You want to be fit in that circle, or you want to be look like or feel like that. But expectations, other person not like letting you to sit there or to like stand there. But sometimes I think like all around it's a questioning you and a problem you why they can put finger in. Like sometime in our religion book, they are saying if like doing this finger like to point somebody, very easy. When you point this way, it's like turn. It's hurt, but
Yeah.
we never find our insides. We don't make our inside happy or love ourselves and stand up like who cares about you. Society didn't pay our bills, but we are making always other person happy.
Yeah.
And
Who's the other, even like your own family, own blood relation, they don't think about your feeling, what you are saying and doing.
Exactly.
And even like with your scenario or case, like you fight for your daughter, you put your life on like that circumstances because that is a trouble time, and you are stand up. But like your daughter, if didn't acknowledge, sometimes it's hurt. We are all humans. Like we did like whole life. Like sometimes I'm saying, especially for woman or girl, when we are standing up, like just a child to like grown up, your parents like telling you do this, then you go in a second step, your education, you're a teenager, then they are like telling you do this and this. And when you come in the next house, they are telling you do this and this, then your children started. When you can flourish yourself, only when you stuck, then you said like, okay, that's it. Fears and I'm stand up. Then they are putting finger other way around, like this person is so stubborn, this woman is this.
Yes.
And then who you are, how you fit in society.
yeah, so they are talking about pointing finger. I was going to tell you that, and they have a saying in my language that when you are pointing finger at someone, the one finger you're pointing, the rest of the finger is pointing at you. So
Yeah.
yeah, watch out when you point people finger at people at. You have to be cautious of that. Anyway, so there are so many things to discuss with you, Sujata, and like Linda, she also has a lot to share. We all do.
Yeah.
You,
Yes.
one thing that excites me so much about Sujata is that, these stories, to some, it's supposed to be a family secret. To some, it's supposed to be their best secret kept ever. But you put yourself out there, you're so vulnerable. And just for you to help the world, to encourage women, to encourage people to be able to speak up. What would you say now to people who don't speak up? I know there are tons of people out there that, they bottle up about every emotions, everything, just even things that you might think that, oh, this is something the world will laugh at. They make it so personal and they keep it, they bottle it up so tight that not even a piece of it would drop. What will you say to people like that?
So this is what I've been telling, that if we want society to change and if we want women to reach somewhere, you have to just let go of society telling you what to do. You have to just be yourself, and there's nothing to fear. It's just that the fear and inhibition has been built in by society. But how bad can it be? When you actually learn to speak up, you find it very liberating, which you've seen in my journey in the book. When I was a daughter-in-law, I picked up courage to say no to something which I did not agree, which was for my daughter, like putting those, what they put, that coal in the child's eyes. That was the first time I decided, even if I'm trying to please them, I will not accept this. And I picked up courage to actually say that. And they backed off, because if you put logically something and you're firm, then they do back off. But we always are scared of, oh, if I speak up, what will happen? They will get upset. And, everything is about the fear of rejection, or of some kind of displeasure that we will be at this thing, whether it's from family members or it's in the office. What if my boss is going to get upset? So don't say, even if you have a burning desire to say this is not right, or this is what I would like to come up with, you don't say it and do it just because you're always thinking of the other side coming down on you. But you're not being true to yourself. You're not going to be happy, and you're going to land up with all the diseases which is called by the so-called stress, right?
Right.
So what about that? So you're not doing anything, and these people are not going to come. They're not going to pay your bills. They're not going to be around when you're sick. They're not going to, let you flourish. So why? These are these nameless, faceless people who, will tell you how religion will tell you what to do, what not to do. Institutions will tell you what to do, not to do. So we just have to keep thinking of the others. And if we start always thinking about the others, we don't discover ourselves, or we don't flourish. We know who we are, we have the potential. Women have gone all the way to the moon and come back, but there's so few who have made it,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
so,
Absolutely.
like, how many women are there in sports which are totally male dominated, like kickbox or wrestling and all that? How many?
Right.
Because how many parents will tell the girl child, you can do whatever you want. You want to be a champion in masculine sports, you are welcome to do. It's not true that we are physically weak. We are not actually physically weak. If you train the child from childhood, the
Yes.
child can be trained to this thing. This whole thing, physically weak, has been brought down from ages, and we are told that we are physically weak. Neither are we physically weak or emotionally weak. We are much stronger than our other counterpart.
Uh,
Right.
and I have seen exactly what evidence of what you are saying now, that their upbringing. So beginning with the child or the upbringing of people, it's important what we implement in the child. They grow up to bear that fruit. And I've seen people suffering today because the parents somehow ignore certain things due to
Yes,
fear or due to some sort of experience. And today they are suffering the consequences of their own upbringing. So,
yes.
yeah. So, no,
Because because the parents also follow the stereotype conventions. So
yes,
when a girl is born, it'll be pink. When a boy is born, it'll be blue. It starts right from there, the color code. Okay, when you give the toys, you'll never give a neutral you know uh, gender toys, right? Why
no,
the boys have to be given all the cars and trucks and automobiles, and the girls have to be given the Barbie dolls and the home kit sets and all? Why? Allow them to choose. Just put the toys out there and allow the boy and the girl to choose. When in reality, that most of the chefs, celebrity chefs, they're
yes.
all men. All the fashion designers, they are all men. But would they go home and cook? Would they go home and actually sew things? No. But when it comes to economic value, then all the men are there.
Yes.
Even if like we are going behind that scene, like like when we are talking about religious and stereotype and upbringing, where we get our surroundings, we don't explore things. Even like when we have like our home or from pregnancy to until the child come out, your like surroundings always like give you that kind of words, and then you grow up like that way. And we don't want to be change that dimensions, because like our speaking part never get heard. We get hurt, we don't get heard. And
Yes.
these like things always like bringing us back. And then the other thing, through my journey with my kids, now they are grown up, they are saying, mom, like all the cultures, what they do, mostly they said, you see, like a Ruth's child always do this and Sujata's child do this. You never say my child is like this.
Yes.
Even in a class, like people are more intelligent or more talkative, they raise their hands, we are always encouraging them. The person never speak, we never give them a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows something, but we
Exactly. And why do we
only
make
treat it
comparisons? And
right.
just because the child is quiet doesn't mean that the child doesn't have much more than probably the one who's, very vocal and
Right.
open,
Yeah.
all this. You have not explored that child's qualities, and that
No.
just remains hidden. And who's going to take that out? Because our education system is not geared to,
No.
bring out such children's development. We are
Yeah.
always about grades. We are always about, the competitiveness, who scores highest, who is visibly most seen, and all that. But what about the quiet ones who might have,
Yeah.
treasure
It,
house of talents?
Yeah.
it,
And I
yeah.
was telling someone about this, that the educational system has caused so many people to to lose their self identity. You might be a quiet type of person, and you might probably not love to work with science or something, but you are
Right.
forced to do it. You have no interest, but it's part of the curriculum. And if you want to pass, you have to endure that thing to do.
Yes,
And when you don't get 10 over 10, and someone who is passionate about this subject got 10, and the teacher look at you and said, you didn't do well at all. You have to, well, if that is the teacher who is nice, say, you have to try to do better next time. You go and you focus on that. People walk around traumatized from day one, the day they
yes,
step in school until the day they finish. And they end up on their deathbed so traumatized, and
exactly.
walk around with this trauma. And so sometimes you meet people in the offices or in the marketplaces, in a society or environment, they have this some sort of behavior, some kind of character. Sometimes it's not them, it's not their fault. It is the conditioning they have gone through. It is what they
Right.
experience from the school, from comparison from parents. Oh, look, you see your friend, she's doing so well. You see how your
Yes,
friend always dress up. Why are you not dressed up like that? You are a
yes,
boy. Why are you doing this? Why are you not wearing pink as a girl? You have
yes,
girly, you are a girl. You have to pose yourself this way. You have
yes.
to stand this way. No,
You
girl.
you can't be fat, you have to be thin, you have to look glamorous. But why are you not teaching the child good values and appreciating
Right.
the child for who he or she is? And secondly, you force the child to take up educational streams which they may not be interested in. What if the child is not interested in science but has an affinity for writing, for poetry, for the arts background? Let them be. But because you want them to be in those circles where you think you'll get well paid jobs, everybody has to become a doctor or an engineer or something like that. Why?
Yeah.
Allow the child to choose whatever is their inclination, and let that they will become the best person, because they'll follow that heart's passion. And too late in life, then they will be told, oh, you must follow your heart's passion. It's a bit too late, right? At 30, if you're going to tell somebody follow your heart's passion when you were never allowed to follow your
No.
heart's passion, right?
Right.
Oh my God, this is so amazing. I wish we could talk forever, but we are almost coming to an end of this today's talk. But before we end, I know you wrote this book, but I just want to ask you, is there any part of this book that is so close to your heart, or that is your favorite, that you want to elaborate on for us?
No, actually, this whole book has got too many stories, and it's all close to my heart because I talk on stories like, if you are a housewife and with three children, and then what if you are stalked by a mafia don? Now that is something which nobody will tell you how to navigate that system. So, there's a huge lesson out there of how I did it, so things like that, or how I started my career, without any background, and how I did diverse things, how I set up my business in Singapore when people would tell that you can't do it. So everything, how I fought that court case. So there's so much of it, and it's all dear to me because every time it was a lesson learned, and it only shaped my character. Today, what and who I am is based on that. And I always say this, that I don't care what the world defines me, because I don't want validation and approval. If you, it's like a mirror, I say. So if you see the good in me, that means you're good yourself. And if you think I'm bad, it's because you have some problem or baggage. And so you are, a little wary of me, because you know that you may not be able to stand up to my scrutiny or to my this thing. So it's like, in Clubhouse, people start reading my bio, and the men will say, oh, after a few sentences, they'll say, I'm already feeling intimidated. Now that's your problem. If you if you read my bio and feel intimidated, that just shows how men are, right? Because they cannot accept that a woman can have all these categories.
Yeah.
Or one person even went to the point of saying, I'm having PTSD. Now if you have post stress traumatic disorder, just by reading my bio, then I don't know what all you must have gone through in life, that it makes you have this. Or you just want to pick on me, and I just don't get rattled, because that's your problem.
Yeah.
Huh?
And
So it doesn't define me.
some men, some are so generous and so kind.
No, it's not only men, even women do it.
Yeah,
Even
some,
women
yeah.
put me down.
Some men,
Even now, women put me down. So it's okay.
yeah,
That's what I say.
yeah. I know most women, some of the women today, you know, we always say that women helping each other, women should do that. But most of the women today, they are so busy trying to bring the other women down. And
Yes.
they are not also willing to go up, but they just can't stand seeing another woman going up. Some are already up there, but they just want to make sure that they remain there and no one climb even close to them.
Yes, I have had men who have read my book on Clubhouse and they have actually wept. So I have seen the good and the bad. That's what I say. Don't go by the gender. Don't go by
No,
the classification. Just see the person for who they are. Don't say man, woman, and this thing and that thing. Just see how the person is. And if you just see the person, just not by their words, but by their actions, you will not be fooled, because actions speak louder than words. You can't fool everybody all the time.
no, it's an amazing share, and put it on a paper and pen together. Like when we are bringing our heart thoughts and bring somebody up any field, I think God gives you more. That's like my belief always. But mostly when we are saying men and when we are saying women, this is like a day one. I think it's a human nature trained like that way, or with the society.
Yes, we
They
are
don't have
always
a,
talking of the gender,
yeah,
So when we say gender bias, gender
and
discrimination, how does it come in? It's come
yeah,
in because we do this. Why can't we just talk of the person as the person is? Don't
yes,
say man, don't say woman and all that. Just see
no,
whether the person has a heart or doesn't have a heart.
yeah,
Leave the gender out of it. Like when I say a crime, a crime is a crime. Don't try to bring in the fact that, whether it was a woman or a man or this thing, whether they were from some caste or creed, which happens a lot in India and other things.
yes.
Don't do that. A crime is a crime. Don't try to classify it.
Uh, Even like when we are coming on that crime side or in India, because like I didn't go in like the other part of world, we can say, if
Mm.
things are outside in my house, we are thinking people. But when came to your house, you will be a same person, like you will be a hyper and crimeness. But we don't think that everything in our inside or in our own shoes. We are thinking people. That's why the people are saying, if like you see outside, it's like you are seeing fire. When
Mm.
it came to your house, then you feel the heat.
Yes.
All humans, we understand that small things and belongings, who we belong only one God. We have like all red blood, but we don't think this way. When you hurt and you go on that situation, we are saying Sujata and Sujata's daughter. All days, like I don't know, like a whole world, but like Indian culture, mostly I can say, you are a daughter for whole village.
Yes.
They respect, and they, if you are behind with the any work, they will pull you out and they help you. But nowadays it's a fancy work. People grow like so many ways, but
Yeah.
everything is a man-made. Like that's the way I see and think myself. Everything is a man-made. If my health is not here, how, what are you gonna do with money and house? Nothing.
Yes, exactly.
You need to like just be you. Like sometime the I see your journey is very tough, but like when I'm seeing myself, I'm saying like sometimes I comparing, this is hard, this is hard, but end of the day I'm seeing with my own words. Every time words change, now I'm saying like since like a child to now, I always ask, give me a strength, other things I can handle it. But that's easy because like nobody lets you to show up your strength even. Doesn't matter how you do, people are always questioning. And God gave every individual talent, but sometime that talent, like in your story, how it's born, because like something is hurting and somebody gives you a courage, put it on a paper, people will see, world will see. That's the way the God comes. That's the way the all the religion books come. Who write? Men write their thoughts on
Mm.
Yes.
how they feel it. And
Yeah.
then like we are the one who are reading. Now your book came out, like Ruth read it, like I didn't like buy it yet. But the things like when you are see and heard and read, then your experience. My experience maybe when I'm reading is go different directions. And these are the things we never get a chance before. This is a time. Sometimes I'm saying COVID gave a knock on your door, just get like this. Nobody need Sujata's money or hurt. Like when we are like sharing this feeling gonna heal. That's like the science or like small words and longevity is in my words. Nobody need anybody.
Yeah, not that COVID is so pleasant,
Right?
but COVID brought so many good things. Just like
Yes.
this, it's it was born during the COVID era,
Yes.
and
Exactly.
so many beautiful things that happened during that. So I just want people to picture life about this, that every things that we see as bad stuff happening in our life, it's not really bad. There is something good in it.
Some purpose. Yes.
There is a good purpose in all of this. So there is growth, there is so many opportunities in all the unpleasant experience we have in this world, and those we look at them as so bad, it's all based on our own perception.
Yeah.
It's on our expectations that we have towards life, and some of these expectations are not our own creation. These are creation from the environment we came out from, our communities, from the society. And so it is very important that whatever you are facing, if it's about your health, sit down and make some reflection about your life. There is a meaning in that. Nothing is bad though. If I believe that we named it like that, but there is
Yeah.
a purpose in it. So for me, most of these things, I'm a very religious person. I believe so much that there is this higher self that is always watching over me and directing my path. And that brings me to um you, Sujata. Kurinda mentioned that, then I was like, okay, about your spiritual experience. Could you please speak on that so we will come to
Yes.
us?
So that spiritual experience is very, very important because it just tells you that, when in your darkest moment, sometimes God will show her, whatever it is. The higher power does show the presence. And when I have had angels watching over me, which I could only connect now. But when the incident happened, then just look at it. There were some miracles which happened. Now, I am born into a religion, but I've always had leaning towards Christianity. But I've always said God doesn't live in the temples, mosques, and churches. And my spiritual experience happened in a church. And people will find it odd that this thing, but just look at it. I used to meditate and I used to see angel wings. I used to see myself looking down a mountain. I used to see red boots for some reason or the other. And I never could understand what's the meaning in this meditation. But imagine when this incident happened and I'd gone to Montserrat, which is a pilgrimage place for, Christians and all, but all over the world, people come from all walks of life. It's such a powerful place. And I'd gone there prior to the incident, and I downloaded some choir songs, on my laptop. And when this incident happened, I saw the miracles. It used to play by itself. Whether I played it, rebooted my computer, how did that happen? So I knew that I had to go back there. And my husband, because men don't always are not geared to be very expressive and this thing. If women don't come out, then men are even more not going to talk about the rape of their daughter. And, they have to carry on in life, pretend everything is normal, go to office and all. He was very, very sick. And when I decided to go there, I had befriended a Spanish chef in the country that I was staying. And I told him my story. He says, okay, if you're going there, you go to this monastery and meet this priest. You might enjoy talking to him because he's a modern thinking priest. I said, okay. And imagine I go there and my husband not feeling comfortable sending me alone, he follows. And he became perfectly all right the moment he boarded the plane. He could not walk. He could not keep anything in his stomach because he had such severe loose motions, which nothing was helping. No antibiotics, no medicine, nothing. But he said, if I manage to board the flight, I'll join you. When he sat on the flight, he was perfectly all right. So the person who got off the flight was totally, totally okay. And then we went to Montserrat, and I couldn't find the place, and I was getting very agitated. And my husband was trying to console me and saying that, look, you're in the main chapel. So why are you getting so head up? I said, no, but I had to be somewhere else. When out of the blue, this girl walks out and I just babbled to her in English because in Spanish, I don't know Spanish. So I was talking to people and people were talking to me in Spanish and there was nothing which was happening. But this girl, she knew English and she says, you won't find it. I will take you. And she took me to that place, which is behind Virgin Mary's altar. St. Joseph's Chapel. And there was a guy there and he confirmed that Sujata from Singapore had an appointment and this is not open for tourists. And when I went in there, it sounds like a film story, but this is exactly what happened. We went and sat down, the bell started ringing, the hymn started playing, and I looked at my watch, it was exactly 1 o'clock when I was supposed to be there at 1 o'clock. I just sat and wept. I'm not normally a person who cries, but the tears just flew. And I just told God that, okay, if nobody loves me, you do. That's all that I said. I never asked for anything. And when we came out, we went to the mountains where the miracles had happened. And in our previous visit, we had not gone there because we can't climb, you have knee pain. Now we could go without any kind of a thing. And guess what did I see there? I saw the angel wings, which I used to see in my meditation. Now you connect the dots, and if you have an answer, you tell me. I saw those angel wings. I came down, went to the monastery, and guess what? It's the hillock that I used to see in my meditation. And my elder daughter, she does tarot card and angel card reading. And whenever she does angel card reading, three cards always pop out: Archangel, Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael. And she had told me that if I'm going somewhere, my angels are going with. And I didn't tell the children I'm going. So when I went to this priest, I told him my entire story. And for some reason, I told him about my daughter's angel card reading. And I felt a little foolish because, the Christian priest may not really approve of tarot card and angel card reading, but I still get goosebumps because he looked at me and he said, no, Sujata, this is providence. I said, what do you mean? He says, would you like to meet your angels? Because this is the only monastery in Spain where the three archangels are pictorially depicted. And so I met my angels.
Wow.
And when I came down, my third stop was at a shoe store where I had gone previously. And the guy recognized me and he says, I've got something new for you, which you might like. It was a pair of red boots, which I used to see.
Wow.
And that And that started my journey of being an entrepreneur, because I just told him out of the blue. I said, why don't you open something in Asia? Because I can't keep coming to Barcelona. He says, why don't you talk to the owners and give me the card? So while I was fighting a court case, I also set up business in Singapore by opening my own, shoe store.
Wow.
So if you
Wow.
can tell me that this was not predestined, tell me, how did it happen?
Yeah.
So, I could find the courage, because I knew that even if the world put me on one side, ostracized us, stigmatized us, God was with us. And the other thing, I'll tell you the blessing of God. So when this incident happened, apart from deciding to fight a battle in court, I did another very courageous and, what people will say, not to be done, but why Sujata did it. So, what happened was, at that point of time, she was in a relationship with a boy. And the first thing I did was, after telling the cops, I told the boy's mother. And people just came down heavily on me and said, why did you tell? Because now your daughter will be dumped. I said, I'd rather she be dumped now and I pick up the pieces than she be dumped later. And guess what? In all this thing, it turns out, in the billions and billions of population, this family was so good that they accepted my daughter as she is and was. They never held it against her, and she got married to this boy. Now, if that is not a blessing from God, then what is?
It's
Right.
absolutely a blessing. And wow, there is a great lesson in that. And you have a lot to share. So I will encourage viewers watching this to really look for Sujata. We will be having you more often to tap your knowledge, because there is a lot in you that you can offer the world. And I believe that we have all been called for something, and we are here for a purpose. That is what motivated me to name my podcast Clarity of Purpose. And because we all need clarity, and we are all here for a purpose. And I want to help everyone that it's finding it difficult to understand life process and all the experience in life, and how to get to the next level, to understand that it is easy if you set your mind to it. And if you ever need help, I am always here to help you. Sujata is here. Kulwinda is here. We are all here to support you. I understand, just like Kulwinda, just like Sujata, that we can take it one step after the other, or step by step. There is no rush. There is no need for you copying someone, but just be yourself, be who you are, have the courage, because courage is they said, I don't know where I saw the quote, but they said the secret to happiness is freedom, and then the secret to freedom is courage. So if you have the courage to endure this or to take action, you will be able to achieve your dream. So with that being said, I want us to bring this to an end, and I would love for you to give us your last word. I will start from Kulwinda and then end with Sujata.
I'm really appreciate we have a great time with us. Like our mission is the same. We are here for a marathon run. One day, one meal, every time you find something new. We need to explore and ignite each other. Even like today, I write a quote, good morning, when truly don't care what anyone thinks of you, reached amazing level of freedom. What is a freedom? Is everybody is take a freedom word is different ways, but
Yeah.
our freedom, I'm saying I have a time freedom. I love it. I'm very compassionate to run with that freedom. And we want to be helped, like as a mothers or as a wives, how do you stand up yourself? I'm really appreciate Sujata. We meet each other. This is like just starting. We're gonna take each house how women can smile. Thank you. And last for you.
Thank you so much. So I will give the floor to Sujata to share with us her last words for
So
now.
for now. So I have to always thank Clubhouse for meeting people like you and Kulvinder or many others that I've seen, blessed with. You will always find the good and the bad, but amazing relationships is what I have found. And I believe that relationships like the ones that we have is meant to be. In so many people, why did we find each other? Because there is a purpose and there is something that we probably need to do together. If nothing else, our collective energy and wisdom is going to be the light for others. That's what
Yeah,
I feel.
absolutely.
And I thank you for letting me into your show.
Thank you so much. And before you go, how do the viewers or listeners contact you or reach out or get your book?
So my book is there in across Amazon, all countries. It's there in Barnes and Nobles also. And otherwise, as I always say, my phone number is there. I always prefer the phone to email. Of course, my email is there also in my bio or in the book and all. But I believe that a real connection is not by followers or following. It's a question of if you are able to pick up the phone and have a conversation, that is more than social media connections, because they're not always very real. So the real connection is when I can just talk to you or you can talk to me. A 2 a.m., 4 a.m. friend is what I call myself. And I do that. I mean, sometimes, of course, I do fall asleep, but I always say that, and I am doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And I can witness to that. I've spoken to you middle of the night or
Yes.
late night or early morning, all the time. I've done
Yeah.
that before. So that's who you are. And so if you are looking for a mentor and someone who direct your thoughts, please can you say your number so maybe people can.
So it is +65, which is the code for Singapore, 9173 5302.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Kulinda, how do the viewers and the listeners contact or reach?
Thank you for Sujata. Sujata is in Singapore, Ruth in Iceland. I'm in Toronto. Anybody can find me with my name, any social media, Kulvinder Samra. We are all of us here. We are just phone call away. How we can support you or help you to make you stand up. That's like our journey and mission. And we are all here to bring world together. That's our mission. Thank you for today's talk. If like more information, you can find us all richwoman.co too. Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I will end with this on the quote from Maya Angelou that said that courage is the most important of all the virtues because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. So whatever that you have set your mind towards, have the courage to pursue that. And believe me, God will send all the angels, all the support you need to achieve that. Never doubt yourself and keep on keeping on. Much love to all of you and thank you for watching this and having us today. We appreciate you. And Sujata, thank you once again. Thank you, Kuvinda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's bye for now.
Bye. We're gonna stop.